here. Big show talking about what's going on in the markets. My goodness, it's a bit of a bloodbath. Don't tag me in the video that I want a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath in the crypto markets. So we're going to discuss that, obviously. We're going to discuss if we've seen the all-time high and now we need to wait until the end of the year until that's it. We're going to discuss a bit of the background on all that. We're going to be maybe discussing the Fed meeting today. Are we going to see some surprise? Bank of Japan, a little bit of a surprise. I want to address that as well. And we're going to have quite a nice discussion. Fabio, how you doing? How is everything? What's happening in the community? Give me the latest insights.
I like the bloodbath reference. So what's going on in the community? Let me address the obvious things first. So are you ever going to be back on Twitter? Is your Twitter account hacked? What's happening? Why are you on a different Twitter account?
Okay. I am on a different Twitter account. Actually, not voluntarily. I don't know, my Twitter. I can't log into my Twitter. Initially, I was really panicking that my Twitter account got hacked. But then none of the Twitter accounts seem to work to log in. We tried a couple of the other accounts to see if I can log into any of the company accounts or if I can log in, I don't know, to anything. So I couldn't. Fun story. I asked one of our team members didn't believe me. So I said, okay, log out of your Twitter and then try to log in again. So now he also can't log in. So I don't know. So yeah, if Twitter gets their stuff fixed at some point, then I'm happy to be back on. I mean, at the moment, the thing is really, I just spent zero time on there. So I wanted to log in just before, it didn't work. So now I need to bypass this with a different account.
So then if you're not on Twitter, then obviously there are a few questions we need to address. I've heard that you're moving to Dubai.
My goodness, some people have way too much time. So seriously considering various options. Obviously, everything's subject to due diligence, subject to contract. So seriously considering.
And also, what's happening to the cake offices?
Seriously considering, subject to contract, subject to due diligence. Obviously, weighing the options. I mean, on the office, very straightforward. The team is smaller. With the winding up application over the past months, I mean, we've had massive uncertainty in the community. We've had massive uncertainty with partners. We've had massive uncertainty with team members. Team has shrunk significantly. We don't need that space. I think there's various options on the table. We're looking to either sublet part of the office, sublet the entire office, whatever is possible. That office is now is way too big. I'm just looking onto various options, but seriously considering, subject to contract, subject to due diligence.
All right. And next in line, I guess, from obvious things to ask is what's happening with the ETFs? Biggest outflow days. I think two outflow days in a row. What's happening? Is the bloodbath going to continue, or have we seen the worst?
Is this also seriously considering subject to contract, subject to due diligence, or not? Okay, this is serious. This is actually doing, not seriously considering anymore. Now we're doing. Okay. So what's happening there? So there's actual stuff happening. It's not just considering. It's actually happening. I actually brought a chart. Let's switch over. Let me look here. I mean, it's quite. Honestly, I thought yesterday was disastrous. To be fair, 19th of March here. I thought that was quite drastic. Smallest inflow into BlackRock, I think, so far. I think this is the largest net outflow we are seeing so far, 326 million. BlackRock only 75 million inflow, about 40 million to Fidelity. The others either 0 or 2.5. I don't know. The huge question here really is this going to stay, or are we going to see some change here? Is there going to be some improvement in all this? And I think that's really what it's coming down to. whenever I speak to friends of mine on other platforms, market makers, the thing is they have not become the makers in the market. They don't make the price. They have become price followers. They are takers, and this has significantly changed over the past months. It's really months. And so I think the only ones who really know is BlackRock, Fidelity, and everyone else is just watching and has to watch and see. I mean, with I think the price dipped down under 61,000 in Bitcoin. Ethereum, I think 3,100. Now it bounced back up. Let's see. Maybe it's getting a bit of a better day today on the 20th. Maybe the sell-off is kind of done. I mean, we're seeing really strong inflows here on the outflows here on the Grayscale side. But I think the outflows are not so much of a problem. If you go back, I mean, sure, yesterday is on the 18th. We had $642 million outflow. I think that was the strongest outflow day ever on Grayscale. I don't necessarily think that's such an issue. The issue is more that the inflows have become relatively weak. And I think that's the major issue. Yeah, so I mean, we've had some massive days that caused the all-time high. Here, I brought a nice chart here. You can also look at how long it took to get to the various prices. Obviously, it took a really long time to break the 69,000, the all-time high. We went to 70,000, 71,000, 72,000, 73,000. We did that about a week ago. And since then, we have slowly pulled back again. So let's see when we're going to do another run-up. One other chart I just want to show here. That's market value to realized value. I'm becoming a bit more dubious on the on-chain metrics. I think the on-chain metrics are not so helpful anymore with off-chain buying with the ETFs and so on. But we've seen on-chain at least massive kind of wealth building up. A lot of people having fat profits, and obviously a lot of people then thinking about selling. And actually we've seen a part of that. And yeah, that's kind of the bloodbath here. I mean, coins really down significantly. Bitcoin is kind of holding up. Some coins are doing better. Some are doing worse. Yeah, the ratio for Ethereum flipped. So Ethereum underperforming year to date. So far, it's been outperforming. Quite interesting. Just want to bring those charts. Now push it over to you, Fabio. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Where's this coming from? I don't know what points you have or kind of insights you want to give.
Yeah, so maybe just a lot of people are talking about a major correction or a dip. Just to put some numbers on this, I think we had a correction of about 17%, which, everybody that was participating in the markets in 2017 or in 2021 would call this a dip for ants. It's not even like, I think we have 4 corrections of about 20% this year. And even those corrections were not real dips. I would consider a real dip maybe somewhere between 25 and 35%. And we haven't seen that yet. So is this the baptism by fire that the ETF guys still kind of need to experience? I mean, okay, look, if you can't handle, or if the ETF people, the guys that are investing through the ETF as an investment vehicle cannot bear 15, 17, 20% correction, I think they don't know what they signed up for. Like the volatility is pretty low, actually. And we might even go lower from here, and then probably I would consider it a real dip. But for now, the 17%, it's basically the first major correction since the first day of the ETF. And I wouldn't even call it major. It's interesting for me. There are certain things that I want to have some data on. So firstly, who are these people that are buying these ETFs? Are these traders that use for example, the BlackRock ETF as a trading vehicle? Are these long-term holders? Are these passive investors? And there are certain indications that will kind of show us who these people are. So we have maybe 3 or 4 different things that we can pay attention to. So firstly, how are they holding up? So especially if you look at the IBIT tracker, until now, we only had inflows. Of course, they are lower, in like not hundreds of millions, but maybe only 70 million. But are we going to see outflows if we see a 30% corrections? Are these people here to trade, to take profits? And then I think at the end of this quarter, so in a few days, we close March. And I think within 45 days, calendar days, companies need to disclose in their board reports and so on if they made any changes to their treasuries. So I think about mid-May, we are going to know if we have any big players that entered during Q1. Or at least we have some indication. I would guess that we will see some surprises that people didn't know that they allocated into Bitcoin, but yeah, let's see. So that's a data point that I'm going to be looking forward to. And then secondly, there are two other points. So now that Bitcoin is kind of leveling up and speaking to a different kind of clientele, we are going to see rebalancing events and we are going to see tax events. So rebalancing on a quarterly and on a yearly basis, and taxing is going to be more impactful the longer we go. Because look, honestly, in the people that invested in 2017 and 2020, and I have many stories on this, they are not the sophisticated investors that keep in mind that they need to pay their taxes. Many of them were surprised by the taxes they actually need to pay, but they were not consciously preparing themselves to pay their taxes. And now that we have maybe a little bit more of a sophisticated investor joining the party, those investors know exactly when to take profits, to set money aside for taxes. So it's going to behave a bit more like other risk-on assets, like equities. And these are a few of the things that I'm currently watching very closely. That is this game really changing. And then, of course, we have the halving coming up. And with the halving, so around 10th of April, we have the first 90 days that kind of follow. After 90 days, registered investment advisor offices and bureaus and so on can invest in a new asset. So I guess in April, there is we really need to be watching this closely. For now, my estimate would be I'm expecting a bit of a sideways choppy period, maybe a bit down from here, maybe a bit up. I don't really know. But the more interesting part probably towards, I don't know, maybe end of April and May. On the maybe you want to talk a bit about
You
the
can share what I.
metrics.
Yeah, I can. I just shared a
Oh,
Coinbase rankings. That's
yeah.
yeah, from like how it changed. So yeah.
So the two metrics that are easy to kind of look at are, of course, the Google search results for let's say Bitcoin and Ethereum, and both are currently ticking towards the upside. I actually have an error on my screen, just seeing that. Both are ticking up. And on the screen right now, Julian is sharing a Coinbase app rank
Yeah,
bot, which kind of looks how many
it's trended
downloads,
down.
or
Yeah,
not really the downloads, but the ranking of the Coinbase app. And it was ranked in the top 200, almost top 10 in finance, and now it kind of fall out of the top 10. It's in the top 500 and top
yeah.
50.
In the last
So we
12
definitely
hours.
see
Yeah, last 12 hours. So really a big crash with
slowdown.
the crypto crash. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
mean, very interesting. How do you see? If I jump, how do you see the Fed meeting today, and how do you think that's going to have an impact? Like, what do you think?
um, I don't think it's going to have an impact. I think they're going to hold rates where they are right now, and everything's priced in. Probably a bit of chip chop in front, during, and after the announcement, but I don't expect much. Maybe we are going to hear something in his address afterwards, where he
Mm.
will hint at the summer period or the potential actual pivot period. Um, and then we probably see the market repricing or readjusting the time frame when they're going to pivot. I think right now I haven't. You have it open. I think the next slide is the CME tool. No,
Yeah, correct.
so
That
we're
just shows the
looking.
predictions. Yeah.
So the first serious prediction is in June.
Yeah, but even there at the moment, it's almost a 50-50 split, right? So that's also quite interesting. So, I mean, it slightly favors a lowering of to 500 and 525 basis points. So that's 0.25% lower than where we're now. But it's honestly, I mean, that's still a split basically here. I mean, this is a very, very yeah, it's really the end of July one that starts favoring everything else. Yeah. No, quite.
Yeah, and
I
on
agree.
the
I think
on
it's.
the
I think it's not about today's meeting. I think it's really about the signaling for the future meetings. I really think so, because I mean, at the beginning of like last year, people were kind of expecting 5 interest rate cuts, so over 1%. Now we're down to 3. Expect the market's expecting. Yeah, definitely interesting. I mean, uh, also stocks. I mean, stocks had 2 negative weeks in a row. A lot of stocks selling off. It's been not easy for investors the past couple of days.
Yeah, I would also, when you look outside of, so of course the Bitcoin dominance, we usually bring that up as well. It was actually pretty stable over the last, or let's say after the beginning of March till now, we were mostly around 53%, currently at almost 54. We briefly touched on that the last few times. Right now, for everybody that is aware of this capital rotation, when Bitcoin is in territory of all-time highs, they are inclined or kind of try to front run a more risk-on behavior. So usually, at least the last 2 cycles, when Bitcoin broke its all-time highs, we saw a rotation of capital down or up the risk curve. So more into Ethereum and into altcoins. And many people right now are already speculating on that. We could see, I think, AVAX and Solana had a really nice run up. Solana, I think, even overtook BNB for a bit in the top 4. But I still am a bit hesitant if this is an actual all-time high that we
Mhm.
broke. Because if you look at total money supply, M2, or if you look at inflation-adjusted metrics, we actually need to break 78,
Yep.
79,000 to have an inflation-adjusted top. And so you can, of course, just by the metrics or by the number, yes, we broke all-time highs, but yeah, I think the inflation adjustment target is also very important, and that would approximately be around 80,000. Um, so yeah, the period ahead of us, probably the next 1 or 2 months, I'm expecting a lot of choppy period. I don't think this is a local top and we're going to go back down to 20. But I also don't see that we have enough follow through to really take out the all-time high again. So yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
in between. Yeah, it can go up, down, or sideways.
Kangaroo market. What's happening on the DeFiChain front? There was a engineering community meeting on Monday. Talk a bit about that
Yes.
maybe, and what else is going on.
Okay, so one of the number one things that DeFiChain Labs is trying to tackle right now is transparency. So, and there are 2 major building blocks that kind of lay the foundation of that. One is the public Trello board with all the roadmap milestones and issues listed on there, where you can publicly live see where everybody's working on. And then the second thing is a monthly public call with the core development team. You were part of the team as well. We had a few people from Bake. We had core developers, people from Birthday Research, community members, project owners of diverse community projects joining that call. And the first segment is usually Prasanna, the head of engineering, addressing a few things that are in the pipeline, like an upcoming potential upcoming hard fork. And the second part is a bit of a Q&A where people can really directly interact with everybody on the team. So the call was Monday morning, European time, and in evening time, Singapore time. And of course, it's not possible for everybody to join. We're currently slightly editing. We're not cutting out anything or so. We just cut off the beginning and cut off the end. Description, title, thumbnail. We are preparing that, and it's probably going to be uploaded today or tomorrow for everybody that wasn't there. So it's going to be available as a podcast on the DeFiChain YouTube channel so that everybody that missed the event can participate. And we might also look into an option that you can submit your questions beforehand, just so yeah, if you cannot join the meeting on the time that we are setting it, that you also have an opportunity to kind of submit your questions. We also have an event. Let me double check this first day with the university in Singapore, with SMU, and it's going to be the title of the event is Connecting Two Worlds, Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's first day, March 21st, and it's going to be a 2.5 hour long event. I think Singaporeans can attend the event locally. Not sure if it's going to be live streamed or if there is going to be a recording. If so, of course, we will publish it on every social channel there is.
We'll definitely try, I think, to get a
Yeah.
recording, whether live or not, that I'm not sure.
And then maybe I just want to remind people to check out DeFiChain Labs Twitter account or Telegram group or any other social channel, because we still have the community reward campaign going. That is in collaboration with community projects. You can participate, solve certain quests or missions, and you actually can win a prize pool. With I think 4,000 DeFi are currently on the table to be, let's say, airdropped or dropped to the community. I think these are the most important points that I briefly wanted to mention.
Yeah, on that.
Maybe turn the tables, and can you do the same thing? Maybe very bake
Of course.
specifically what's currently happening, what's planned, what's coming.
Of course, I think main focus at the moment is really the exchange function. We started the first version of that last week, and next week, if everything goes well, we're going to have the second version of that, and that's going to be an upgraded version. At the moment, you can already trade some of the pairs. One of the most wished pairs was to trade, for example, DFI into Bitcoin. So now that we don't have the one-way service provider, before we were more of an investment platform, which was one way. Now we can actually do both ways, and we're going to be adding more and more pairs. The idea is that we're going to have a fully working trading engine where you get the best available pricing in the market, and yeah, just with a click of a button, you can access all those things. And then what you should be expecting going forward are obviously building on top of that various options when it comes to trading ideas, being able to, and we've discussed this a couple of times in the past with Alpha Desk. We can combine those where you have these really complicated trading ideas sometimes and make them very simple with the click of a button. See how historically such trading ideas have performed. See a bit of a kind of risk reward analysis, and then decide for yourself if this is interesting or not. The other thing is we launched the AI coin bundle. The next one is going to be the meme coin bundle, one of the hottest topics right now in the crypto space, especially on Solana. So that's a quite an interesting one. And that's going to be the main focus. I see this question here on if we are dropping DFI. I mean, I don't know where such things are coming from. I think Cake Bake has been in full support of DFI. I don't know. We are supporting the MetaChain layer. I don't know. We've been full on this, and I think on all ends. So I hope you really see this. Sometimes, I don't know. People forget. That's just how it is. I think that's the main focus right now. I think team has good spirits, and very focused on that. So quite exciting. Have you seen the
That
Greenpeace? Have you seen the Greenpeace stuff on Bitcoin with the Twitter fact check? I just saw that now. It was shocking, but I didn't want to jump in.
Yeah, so on the Greenpeace thing, I saw it this morning, and they got ratioed. I think their tweet got 100 likes, and the next best answer is 1.2K. So they got a 10x or 12x ratio, and they were also fact checked by community nodes. I think it's important to distinguish Greenpeace functions as somewhat of it's not really franchise, but they have subsidiaries, and this is specifically Greenpeace USA that is doing this, and
And so
they
the
have a
report
history
says
of
explosive new report exposing the deep ties between the fossil fuel industry, right-wing climate deniers, and the growing lobbying network, pushing a plan to
and
save 30
you know
coal
what's
and
the
gas plants.
the
Oh
dirtiest
man,
thing about Greenpeace US, in my opinion, is they have deep affiliations with Ripple, and actually the Ripple Foundation and
really?
people like the Lars,
I didn't know that.
I don't know how they are funding this. Ripple is actually
Really?
funding this via Greenpeace
Oh my goodness.
USA to basically push the ESG or the electricity narrative. And I think all of their tweets, all of their recent tweets about Bitcoin got fact checked or noted by community notes, which is lovely to see. And yeah, they are just, I don't know, maybe it's engagement farming at this point for them, or it's pure I don't know, let's say I don't know, pushing their agenda because they are funded out of I don't know, pockets that have other interests maybe. I don't know if I'm too conspiracy theorists, but I've saw several reports, threats, articles that pinpoint that funding is coming from Ripple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Wow. Okay.
Maybe just on the bake thing, I wanted to mention this. If you're a user and you haven't logged into your bake account, you might remember that we had 14 months ago or so, we had a minimum. There initially there was no minimum. You could transact 1 cent or
That's a good
even
point.
less
Yep.
than a cent. And right now, and of course, this kind of led to dust, so super small amounts of certain coins building up on your account. I would urge you to log in. We have a new button. It's called Dust Converter. It's completely free of any fee, and you can convert your dust. This is only possible for crypto assets right now. The D token system, so real world assets, will come at a later point in time, but you might want to convert your dust. And when you
Good point.
converted your dust, you can directly use the exchange functionality that is built in to swap it in any asset you might like. So yeah, definitely, this is my number one feature. I kind of have a little bit of an autism. I cannot look at small balances. I want to get rid of them. So I'm very very happy with the dust features. What was like my number one thing that I desperately needed on my cake
Yeah.
account.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you followed Ethereum ETF drama or lack thereof or excitement?
A little bit. So I actually haven't seen the tweet that you added. Maybe can you add some context to the tweet that we are seeing right now on YouTube?
Sure. So the tweet I added is from James Seyffert, which is one of the Bloomberg ETF guys, together with Eric Balchunas. They have been basically commenting on all this. They are actually changing their probabilities almost down to zero for a May approval. And so, main reason is not that they don't think that the ETF should be approved. It's more that they don't hear the conversations between the ETF issuers and the SEC. So, yeah, he is, yeah,
Maybe
quite pessimistic on a May launch date. And personally, and I mean, look, there's no secret, I'm a big Ethereum bull. I actually think if that is the case, Ethereum is going to underperform versus Bitcoin. Yeah.
I think we already see the market pricing this in. When you saw with Bitcoin, even before we really had a high probability on these Bitcoin ETFs, the market kind of sniffed it out and kind of hinted at it. And the same thing is true with Ethereum right now. You could see the sell-off on the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, and maybe I want to throw in one or two things. So yeah, the pros, they are kind of hinting there isn't going to be one in May. I have no clue when the next timeline approaches, but probably, let's say, probably within the next 180 days after May. So towards the end of the year, there would be the second kind of approval deadline. One thing that I see quite common on Twitter is, yeah, but Bitcoin is a commodity, Ethereum is maybe a security. Just keep in mind, everybody, that all ETFs are securities. They're all fall under the SEC, and it doesn't really matter. You can you can make an ETF wrapper for a commodity, and you can also make an ETF wrapper for a security. So it doesn't really matter if Ethereum is going to be regulated as a commodity or a security, and which, or if the CFTC or the SEC has the oversight, because an ETF is by rule a security. So I don't think this plays into this whole argument as much. Yeah, but I have no clue what happens afterwards. I can clearly foresee. So many people call BlackRock the third arm or the fifth arm of government. I don't even know the fourth arm. How many arms does the government have? But they're basically an extension of the United States government, or at least a lot of conspiracy people say they are. And if BlackRock wants something, then they are going to get it. That's at least the argument that many people make. And I can completely foresee. Look, they hinted at this. Larry said it. They opened it. They filed the application. They want to make their fees. So I wouldn't put this argument to the side, but I would agree that before we don't have substantial rumors and substantial hints that an ETF is going to come, I also think that Bitcoin might outperform Ethereum in the meantime. Afterwards, if an ETF is rumored to be accepted, then we definitely there. It's a fantastic narrative, and if we the crypto market trades on narratives only. So yeah, if there is a hint towards an Ethereum ETF, this might be a legit trade. Yeah.
Agree. I mean, I wouldn't know it better than these guys that really understand that. So I'm just copy pasting that. Yeah. Any other subject at the moment other than the price drama uh, that we need to address?
So honestly, um, uh, like I'm gonna be a bit confrontational, but I'm just reading the chat, and there are some people. I mean, maybe they need to hear just one sentence out of your mouth, because otherwise it's just gonna continue talking and talking, like Elijah or Jumi in chat. I think they just want to hear you say, "I'm going to stay at the company." And if you don't say this like straight out, they're just gonna interpret whatever they want. And I don't really get why people kind of suck these things out of thin air and kind of make it. I don't know. Maybe you can say something about
Look,
your plan.
sure. I heard Antarctica is really nice, so maybe I'm gonna go there for the summer. Maybe I'll move there. Look, I posted this quote today that I thought was so fitting. So, look, I didn't come up with this stuff. I don't know. Like, again, like go to that person that comes with up with the rumors. Like, why do I need to address? Like, how do I? Like, why do I sit there and I'm like, dude, where did I ever say that I'm leaving Singapore? I don't know. So, like, people come to me and I'm just not addressing everything because I don't feel like it. And there's a really good quote here. Your predictability gives them a sense of control. Turn the tables. Be deliberately unpredictable. 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. So, man, Antarctica. Seriously considering. Subject to contract, subject to due diligence.
There's a bit of a contrast between Dubai and Antarctica. I would say maybe 50 degrees.
Yeah, I heard they have good Wi Fi there. Yeah. Oh, man.
Cool.
Dude. Like at some point, yeah, this has to become a drunk show or something, and then yeah, really shit talk.
On Cake's birthday.
Yeah, or April Fools.
That would be 2 weeks or so.
Dangerous,
Cool. No,
dangerous,
I think
dangerous,
you know
dangerous.
market wise, we touched on the most important things: Bitcoin, altcoins, Bitcoin dominance, Cake, Bake, DeFiChain. I think we mentioned everything that we need to, and I think all the rest can wait until next week.
I agree. Sounds good.
Cool.
Also from my side, look, don't listen to all the FUD out there. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I found out stuff about myself. I'm like, really? Wow, didn't know there's someone out there who knows me better than myself. So Yeah. I also don't understand how I became such an important person that it matters what my address is. Don't know. I'm not Taylor Swift, so whatever. Please get your Taylor crush somewhere else. Don't do it with me. Yeah. When here Elijah asks, why do I not do the regular updates on my YouTube channel? Exactly because of that. Get your man crush somewhere else. I don't get your Taylor Swift moment somewhere else. Seriously. Did I ever tell you about that, dude? Did I ever tell you about the Taylor Swift concert? Did I ever tell you that? Okay, so
I only knew that there was a mania before the concert where a whole office was trying to get a ticket, and I
yeah,
knew that you were attending the concert and that it was huge. I think the biggest
yeah.
show in history. I think.
Okay, so first of all, I think Singapore played it super well, right? And that's what I love about Singapore. Singapore kind of did a deal with Taylor where they got an exclusive deal for the region. And if you actually look at the map, right, then basically what happened was Singapore almost was the closest location for almost half of the world's population. It's insane to consider that because you have all the Indians, you have Indonesia, you have Malaysia, and you have a lot of the greater China part, where then Singapore is the closest city to them. The same for like Philippines, Thailand. You have a lot of very densely populated countries where Singapore became the closest location. And Singapore played this really well. They got so much shit for doing that. And I think it was the smartest thing. I was really sitting there. I was like, this is going to be Hong Kong's move. And Hong Kong completely effed this up. I'm surprised. I'm surprised no other city managed to do this. And Singapore is just so smart about this. And they really understand that. I think they really showed her what a safe city Singapore is and what an amazing city. And yeah, I think they played this really well. So, anyways, honestly, I like she does 40 songs, right? And look, I know there's some Swifties here, I'm sure. And I, out of the 40 songs, probably knew 5 of them or something. So for me, it was a bit of an overkill, this like super long concert, right? And she goes through all these periods. I don't understand any of that. I don't follow that. My wife was like fully into it. I had to get dressed up, right? She bought me all these like things, and so I had to be in the full kind of outfit. So we go there. She's like super. Oh, we need to be there super early. So we get there really early. Have to park like really close to the exit so we can get out at the concert. So she's like fully into this. So we go there. I'm not kidding. Like I cannot. I don't know. Maybe you can relate to this. I cannot remember ever having a crush on some stranger or something, be it a professional athlete. Like I was a huge Michael Jordan fan, right? But I would never say that I would have a crush or like, oh my goodness, or there's no athlete, there's no singer, there's no pop star, no actress or actor. I would ever sit and be like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose it. I'm not kidding. I go there. We have like these super VIP tickets really close to the stage. So basically, when she was like at where like obviously that stage is humongous, right? It's a huge stage. Like really, I think that stage is about 100 meters long. It's really long. So she walks this stage up and down. But when she was like basically at that spot where we were sitting, I mean, that was like, I mean, I couldn't reach her, but like because there's a safety. But I mean, I was easily. I mean, again, I like if I wanted to like again, not that I do this, I just want to give a thing. If I wanted to spit, right, I could like that was close enough, right? Next to me was a grown-up man about my age. I'm not kidding. A grown-up man my age. I'm not kidding. This guy completely lost it. Completely. I was thinking like he's gonna have a heart attack because of her. And I seriously have never seen this in my life. And I sat there and I was almost in horror. I was like, OMG. Because he's not the only one. And he's a grown up man of my age, right? So I cannot imagine if you have like teenage girls, teenage boys who completely lose their shit over her. So I'm like, whoa. And I sit there and he's completely losing it, knows the text to every song. And I just sit there and I'm like, wow, can't believe it, right? Can't believe it. I've never experienced this. I don't know if you have ever experienced this. I don't know. I went to basketball games. I sat ringside. Steph Curry was playing. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. I sadly never got to see Jordan play in live. I saw I don't know, great tennis players, great golfers. I don't know. But I would never have that sense where I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm collapsing, or I completely lose reality. I don't know. I don't know. Have you ever been in such a moment?
I have to say, Taylor Swift is one of the terms that I blocked on my Twitter because she's.
Hey,
If
hey, all the
I,
Swifties here, that's Fabio. That's Fabio's personal opinion. That's not the company's opinion. We from Bake love Taylor Swift, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Look, the most mainstream things, I don't know why they don't resonate with me. I hate soccer. I hate football. I cannot like I seriously gave it a try to listen to a few Taylor Swift songs. Like I was like, okay, what is this? Why is everybody going crazy about this? Why is it all over my timeline? So I went on Apple Music and I skipped like the top 10 songs, and I was like, I don't get it. Uh, so yeah, I put it under my blocked terms, but um, no, I don't know. Like I never encountered something similar,
okay.
but I'm also not really the guy to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
Fair. I
So,
mean, look, summary here. I mean, I'm definitely not someone, I would not consider myself a Taylor Swift fan, right? Definitely not. I wouldn't consider myself a Taylor Swift hater, but I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't go to something that I would hate or that I would find uber boring unless I do it really for my wife. But I was really interested. I mean, I don't know if you know this meme where you basically have the economy and then you have those, like it's this gate, and then you have those two columns. One is Nvidia and one is Taylor Swift. Basically, those two are holding up the entire economy right now. And I just wanted to see how, and look, I say this with all the respect. I don't think Taylor Swift is the prettiest woman out there. I feel there are way prettier women out there than Taylor Swift. When you see her dance, she's not the best dancer. I also think there's a lot of women who sing way better than she does. Like if some of the singers, Lady Gaga, her voice, Adele, her voice is just incredible, right? The power she gets to this, and it's just impressive to see how she interacts with the fans, how she interacts with the crowd, how she builds all this, how she engages everyone, how she understands to really drive the experience. Was it the best concert I ever went to? No, but also because it's not my style of music, but I definitely left inspired in a sense how she really built this. And I thought like that's drawing my virtual hat. I don't understand how Swifties completely lose it. I really don't. But I don't understand this for anyone. It has nothing to do with the Swifties. I have massive respect on what she built. I think a couple of her songs are great. Majority of the songs I've never heard before. And I think it was a nice evening with my wife. That I and yeah. Would I go a second time if she came to Singapore? Probably not. But experiencing that once, I thought that was quite interesting. I mean, there was also, I mean, Ray Dalio was there. There was a lot of really huge people, right? And I understand why. Here's the thing, right? I do understand why, because I was wondering, why do some people really fly to Singapore and go to a concert here? And dude, it's like so straightforward. To me, that's just safety. Like, you are at this concert, there's 60,000 people, and I don't think at one step there are you worried about any kind of safety issue. And I don't know. I think in the US or other places, people are just a bit more worried. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So just wanted to share that. Yeah. So like that experience haunts me a bit on that dude next to me, out of his mind. Like I really thought he was gonna collapse. Like that's how I don't know, never experienced this in my life. Taylor, Taylor, Taylor. Like she was standing there, he's like completely losing it. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you thinking? I don't know. Like, dude, he's a grown-up man, like me. Can't you insane. Yeah. So I feel some of you are a bit like this. If you are, I don't know, uh yeah, tracking my address or spreading rumors about this. Not sure this is healthy. Get a life. So see you from Antarctica. Let's see. Let's see from where I'm gonna be doing my next Twitter space. Great, Fabio.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. If everything goes as planned, we're gonna be here in 7 days. Next Wednesday, 27th.
Yo, looking forward. All the best.
Cool.
Love you guys. Thanks, Fabio. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good week.